Well, amid trade wars, heightened immigration enforcement, and the slashing of the federal workforce, some notable names have stepped up their anti-Trump rhetoric. And that list includes former Vice President Al Gore, who just this week compared the Trump administration to Hitler's Nazi regime, reiterating the idea that the, quote, descent into hell for Germany began with the basic questioning of what's true and what's false. Correspondent Joe Khalil is live for us in Washington. So, Joe, Democrats have used this line of attack in the past. What exactly are we hearing from Gore and others this time around?
Yeah, it's not the first time, right? We've heard that comparison made on the part of Democrats. And the question is whether it is something that's useful and beneficial to the party or whether that might fall on deaf ears if they continue to use that kind of rhetoric. Let's focus in on what the former Vice President Al Gore here actually said. This was a speech that was focused on climate and immigration, and he explicitly made this comparison. He was quoting a German philosopher, and in that quoting, he says here, the first step in that nation's descent into hell was the conversion of all questions of truth into questions of power. He goes on about this philosopher. He described how the Nazis attacked the very heart of distinction between true and false. The Trump administration is insisting on trying to create their own preferred version of reality. And Gore went on. He says, we've already seen, by the way, how populist authoritarian leaders have used migrants as scapegoats and fanned the fires of xenophobia to fuel their own rise to power. Power seeking is what this is all about. Our Constitution, he says, written by our founders, is intended to protect us against a threat identical to Donald Trump. So those words are very serious, and he actually talked about how he realized the magnitude of comparing anybody or anything to the Nazi regime. But he said he felt it was an apt comparison. In 2024 and in 2022, many elected Democrats used the same kind of rhetoric, the same kind of comparisons. President Biden at the time kept using the phrase extreme MAGA Republicans, and he actually called it semi-fascism, referring to the MAGA movement. Now, on the other side of the aisle, the way that you have that being received is, frankly, there is a lot of eye rolling on the part of some Republicans and from this White House. In fact, one of President Trump's spokespeople, Stephen Chung, who's been with him a long time, took to Twitter and basically said, it is the, quote, same old tired playbook that has failed. He says usually those who yell the loudest about Nazis are oftentimes using their same tactics themselves. What we have heard here in terms of whether this is a apt political strategy, whether you get people's attention from some Democrats, is that some will say that using this kind of language sort of desensitizes it if you do it too often, and all of a sudden those kinds of comparisons become less valuable, rather. And again, you got Republicans that are effectively saying that this is a playbook that Democrats have used in the past that has not worked. By virtue of the fact that President Trump is in the White House, clearly that was not a message that moved very many independent voters. When you go back and look at President Trump's margin of victory back in November, he won several groups of voters that he had actually lost back in 2020, Nichole. So there isn't real data in terms of how successful this kind of rhetoric as a campaign strategy might be, but it usually does get attention when somebody like Al Gore uses it.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.